In the fifth place comes Gary Ridgway. In 2001, he was arrested for 4 murders, but later he confessed that he had killed at least 70 women in Washington state throughout the 80s and 90s. But unfortunately, he could avoid the death penalty by providing detailed confession and led police to the dumping sites of his victims, 5 of whom he dumped in the Green River and got the nickname Green River Killer. Then he was convicted of 49 murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. Pedro Rodrigues, a Brazilian serial killer, was arrested in 1973. Later, he was convicted of murdering at least 71 people and sentenced to 128 years of imprisonment. He committed his first killing at the age of 14 as the local criminals killed his girlfriend. And furthermore, he even killed his own father. While he was in prison, he also killed 47 inmates and was sentenced to just 30 years. But his growing killings have led to further convictions, and his sentence has been increased to 400 years imprisonment. Daniel Camargo Barbosa, one of the most famous serial killers of Latin America, who was believed to have raped and killed over 100 girls in Colombia and Ecuador during the 70s and 80s. He confessed to killing 71 girls in Ecuador. After raping his victims, he had hacked the girls with a knife. He was convicted in 1989 and unfortunately was sentenced to just 16 years imprisonment, the maximum sentence available in Ecuador. But fortunately, in November 1994, he was murdered in prison by the cousin of one of his victims. The second most famous serial killer of the world is Dr. Harold Shipman. He was a trusted English doctor. He killed his victims, which were mainly the old women, with the high dose of diamorphine, which is widely used in medicine but in very small amounts. But in the blood of his victims, the amount of diamorphine was too high, which was the main reason of their death. Later, he was sentenced 15 consecutive life sentences and was recommended that he never released. But fortunately, in January 2004, he hanged himself in the Wakefield prison. The most famous serial killer of the world is Pedro Alonso Lopez, a Colombian serial killer who was responsible of raping and killing over 300 girls in South America. He brought his victims to unoccupied buildings where he raped each of them and killed with brutal methods. Later, he was arrested and was sentenced to life imprisonment in Colombia in 2002. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more interesting and mysterious facts around the world, just subscribe our channel.